on for a slide. Thank you very much. And yes, whatever will happen, let's just hope the health and safety form has been filled out. Right, let's move on to transport around the county, in particular the issue of school transport. The MP for Somerton and Frome is calling for more action to tackle this problem in rural areas. David Warburton claims that some pupils may be missing out on learning because they're struggling to get to class if they live in more remote areas. Julia Baker lives in a small village between Frome and Bruton. She's concerned about the situation for her 14-year-old twin children who travel to school in Castle Carey.
My main concern is that there just isn't enough room. By the time they get to our stop, they are not guaranteed a seat. My son, who has numerous medical conditions, it's a battle to get him a seat. My daughter never has a seat. They are saying that 28 people can stand at any one time. That is a huge amount. Bearing in mind, we've also got all the school bags, PE kits. It's having a huge impact on our family and the children. Our son, who is autistic, hates being on the bus. He is very, very scared of it. It means that I am now having to do at least twice a week, 2-hour round trips, so morning and afternoon, to pick him up. This obviously puts pressure on my work, our family life.
Well, David Warburton is with me now, Conservative MP for Somerton and Frome. Good morning, David.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for being on the show. What are your main concerns here? Why are you launching this campaign now?
Well, I mean, as you say, Somerset is a rural area. There's long distances, and a lot of I'm getting more and more parents contacting me and carers saying that their children are struggling to get to school because of the lack of school bus provision, and also because, as we know, rural buses, aren't there as much as they should be, and not all parents and not all carers can drive or own a car. And not all roads have the right footpaths or street lighting for children to walk safely to and from school. So this issue seems to be growing and growing. I've got examples as well. I have one constituent who has cancer, and neither her or her husband drive, and her daughter's been kicked off the school bus because there aren't enough places, and now they have to homeschool. And I've got countless other examples. So I'm trying to work with with Somerset County Council, who are engaging with me now really well, because they are obliged, local authorities are obliged to provide transport for children of compulsory school age to attend their nearest school, and they've just received an extra £1.1 million of funding in order to cover this. So I'm launching this campaign, A Better Bus to School, with the idea to bring together all stakeholders, parents, carers, schools, bus companies and local authorities to understand where that money's gone and why children are being left out in the cold, and how we can really unlock that cash and make sure that we provide this provision to everybody.
I know you mentioned Somerset County Council there. We obviously approached the council. It said that it provides transport to every child who is entitled to statutory school transport, and for children who aren't entitled to free transport, it advises families on what options might be available. Does that not suggest that they already are doing all that they can?
Well, I'm sure they're doing the best they can, and Transporting Somerset do hold the purse strings. But I know that also Somerset County Council have to cope with quite impenetrable rules from the Department for Transport, but those rules are all designed for urban cities rather than rural areas. And as you said, Somerset is a rural area, and I think we have very particular concerns and very particular issues that really aren't covered by those guidelines. So I think in many ways, Somerset, I think the council's hands are slightly tied. So I'm trying to work out the best way to untie their hands and get things moving.
Well, I know you raised this issue in Parliament last week. For those that perhaps may not have heard the response, this is what you got back from the Minister.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend. As he says, as a former teacher, he recognises the benefit of children being in schools. And I can assure him the Department regularly talks to the Department of Transport about school transport. Last year, we gave Somerset over £1.1 million additional funding for school and college transport in response to the need for social distancing on public transport. But I shall continue those conversations.
I mean, I know you brought up the 1.1 million, but generally speaking, were you happy with that response?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not sort of laying blame in any particular area. I just think that we need to work out the best way to unlock that money, because it doesn't seem to be getting through. And I do have an increasing number of people contacting me. And when people contact their MP, it means that they've really got nowhere else to go. And so I think it's time to really look at this properly and work out where the problem lies and how best we can solve it.
Well, I was going to say, what is the next step then in terms of this campaign, in terms of your mission here? What's next?
Well, I'm sending letters to schools across the constituency, asking them to get in touch with me if their pupils are struggling. And I do urge, any parents, any carers to get in touch directly with my office to let me know if they're experiencing, similar problems. And I'm going to be talking, as I say, to two stakeholders, two carers, school bus companies, and local authorities in order to work out where that money's gone and how best we can unlock it and provide bus transport and make sure that people don't get left at home and that people can get to school when they want to get to school.
Well, David,